Commander, the stakes have risen. One of our operatives, codename DELPHI, stopped transmitting just as he was about to reveal the location of Kane's research center. He's experimenting with Tiberium, injecting the stuff into human guinea pigs. DELPHI also has routes and times of the top secret convoy Kane's taken to Bosnia. Once you've landed on this beach and fought your way through Nod security, find DELPHI and, if Kane hasn't killed him, get his information. Over and out.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Welcome back, Commander.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, Roger.
Today's mission kinda sucks. Oh, pro tip, don't take the left path. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Welcome back, Commander. This time,
Reinforcements have arrived.
maybe I'll do better.
Yes, sir. Report, Roger. Unit acknowledged. Reporting. Unit ready and wait. Got it. Ready and wait. Affirmative. Yes, moving in.
So not only is Kane a global terrorist, cult leader,
Affirmative.
media manipulator, and so on, but apparently he's a deranged scientist as well. Although maybe Kane just gets somebody else to do it. Either way. There's nothing that so far seems like conclusively, like, I guess, how do I put this? Settle whether or not like these things are actually happening, and if they are, like what the effects are. I guess it's to test the effects or the limitations of Tiberium poisoning. Or maybe it's about something completely unrelated.
Building.
Just in preparation.
Yeah, maybe I should have split up the bigger group. I mean, on the plus side, this gives a good idea as to just how much you have to micromanage units if you actually want to be able to go, you know, infantry versus tanks. Answer is a whole heck of a lot. Now, realistically, it's probably a smarter idea to chase after grenadiers. Just because, while grenadiers are fast, the one limitation they have is that if you get close enough, they'll just damage themselves. Also, while it's not a bad idea to, you know, clear out enemy units as fast as possible, one has to always keep in mind that explosives will damage Tiberium fields, so killing the rocket soldiers there probably cost, like, I don't know, half a load of a harvester. And that sort of thing, like, always adds up, as we've seen, like, numerous times.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Yes. Yes.
Barring the one failed run at the start of this, this video will have another segment for you guys to watch. It's a little longer than what we saw at the start of this video, but it kind of gives the, like, shows off just how, like, ruthless the AI can be at times. And it's not necessarily that, at least in the case that you guys will see eventually, it's not necessarily that there's like malice behind the programming or anything. Like I don't feel like the devs want to punish you in the future instance. It's just that's kind of what happens when you walk over certain points. Eventually I'll be getting into more detailed posts about the scripting and the different maps. If only to show off like what we missed in terms of maps, because there's a lot of them that are, I don't want to say radically different, but change the orientation enough and change how you will approach an objective in a very good way. Like, if you choose to play the campaign twice and you go down separate paths, missions feel different enough that you're not treading the same exact ground. And I think that's sort of attention to giving a player, you know, in the Nod campaign we had 13 missions, I think it was, and while there are some repeat maps that I'll get to eventually, you're still able to have maybe at least like 20 unique maps, or 20 unique missions, which for the time is pretty freaking cool. Oh yeah, by the way, it's probably a really good idea to build a barracks first in this sort of mission. Yeah, I didn't really learn after the first time either, which kind of pissed me off. So this is just really rude. But again, I probably should have started with barracks and go to Grenadiers first, and then go to War Factory. Weapons Factory, jeez. I was showing my frustration there a little bit.
On hold.
So frustrated was I that I kind of forgot about the whole stopping production does not speed up Tiberium income, sadly.
Affirmative.
Building. Construction complete. Left upon here.
Reaching out into other worlds.
Building.
I think another problem about these missions is that as they get progressively longer, it's a little harder to go into the various different interactions that all the characters in the cutscenes and whatnot have, just because of the game's like age and the fact that it's the first game. So you can't really, like, you don't have the opportunity to talk about really deep connections and implications about like the world and its lore.
Unit ready. Building.
Reaching out into other worlds.
So I'm gonna admit I'm getting off pretty easy here because in the other run, kinda had flame tanks rush me. So if you think like 2 squads of infantry, half of them being flamethrowers and rockets, and the other half being rocket soldiers, flame tanks is like really impossible to defend against. And I'm not saying like, oh well, if you build a couple medium tanks or like,
Building.
no, the flame tanks were on me by the time I'd finished like a war factory. It was pretty gross.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
So as with most things, you just want to find yourself a nice, spot,
Building.
defend, build up what you need to set up a proper defense. Get at least like an okay strike force, and then move out.
Construction complete. Building.
Sounds like a no-brainer.
Moving out.
This mission, though, will have some tricks up its sleeve. And not necessarily the fun kind of tricks.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
But hey, on the plus side, at least I'm like defending successfully now. And I actually have a Tiberium field with a tree that I've kind of just
Moving out. Yes, sir. Waiting.
not mentioned really.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ready and waiting. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir.
I guess it's worth mentioning that in videos that we've seen, presumably of the Tiber region in Italy, although I guess technically it could just be from anywhere, we see that Tiberium leaches just like elements and nutrients from the soil and surrounding things. It's a little strange that the Tiberium that we see here in these maps doesn't have like a sort of maybe a dried out appearance near blossom trees, or
Building.
Waiting order.
just like a slightly off green palette. Would have been interesting, to say the least.
Vehicle reporting.
Like, it makes sense for Africa because, well, it's
Unit affirmative.
not that it's all sand, but it fits the theme.
Moving out. Moving out. Moving
Construction
out.
complete.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
So I figure 3 medium tanks should be enough for me to scout with.
Waiting order.
Well, fortunately, and I guess unfortunately, that
Building.
scouting action shows me the bottom of the Nod base, or at least one of them. If there's more,
Acknowledge.
whatever.
Waiting order.
Point is that I get to see at least some enemy structures.
Yes, sir. Yes, acknowledge.
Unfortunately, I only get to see a SAM site and some concrete walls, so I might as well destroy the concrete walls where I can. Not that that's particularly going to help, but hey, damage and destruction somewhere is always valuable.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
It seems, though, that if you do attack the base, Nod kind of gets pissed off and will try to counterattack that. I haven't checked the code, so I don't know like specifically what it will attack with, but seeing 2 light tanks, I might as well take advantage of, my superior firepower at the moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, moving out. Vehicle reporting.
New construction options.
What is your mission?
Building.
Unit.
If it ever looks like I'm target firing something, that's just because I'm trying to create a control group.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Waiting order. Moving out. Yes, sir. Waiting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit reporting. Are we ready? Moving out. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the fact that I don't take out that medium tank at the bottom from the control group kind of messes my actions up here. Oh, and guess what? I don't get an airstrike.
Building.
Vehicle reporting.
probably because of the SAM sites, so who knows? Maybe I'll try destroying the one above. Maybe it'll do something. Probably won't, though. Man can dream, at least.
Construction complete.
Waiting order. Moving out. Unit. Yes. 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 Moving out. Yes. Affirmative. Yes. Moving out. Yes. Are we ready? Moving. Yes. Acknowledged.
I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't seem like the construction yard is on the southern portion of the base.
Acknowledged.
Oh, and they just rebuilt the SAM site, so that's always great too.
Yes. Acknowledged. Vehicle acknowledged. Affirmative.
I'm a little surprised that I was able to get so much intel.
Affirmative. Moving out.
I would have figured that a SAM site would have been in the top right corner, but doesn't seem to be the case.
Yes. Affirmative. Are we ready?
Construction complete.
So this kind of puzzled me.
Acknowledged.
Yeah,
Like, I found Agent DELPHI.
yeah, okay.
I can control him. There doesn't seem to be any issue. And now that I think about it, I'm not sure if I can actually select him from the start.
Not good. It doesn't look good.
It's not like we did anything to get control of the guy, so... Is it just one of those... Oh, he's a civilian and therefore just hasn't been spotted?
Yes. Moving out.
You know, he doesn't provide LOS, so it's not like you're gonna know he's up there.
Acknowledged.
Which admittedly is kind of clever for them to do that, but it's also gonna be a little annoying.
Construction complete.
It'll take a while for us to figure out why it's annoying.
Unit reporting.
Building.
So obviously, if I've got a ton of money, I'm gonna be building up medium tanks.
Yes, sir. Mayday, mayday. Acknowledged. Mayday.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Personally, I like orcas. They're really good at destroying single targets and so on. If you can mass 4 or 5, as I've said previously, you're kind of set on
Building.
being able to destroy just about any building in the game.
Cancel.
I believe construction yards might take 6, but it's not something I've been actually practicing or testing. That being said, the really good thing for orcas is that they're surprisingly effective at disrupting harvesters. Yeah, don't pay attention to the war crimes I may or may not be committing really soon.
Building.
Okay.
So yeah, the briefing states that we need to meet DELPHI. The cutscene stated we had to meet DELPHI. Well, here I am. I have control of him. I can see him in LOS. What seems to be the issue? Unfortunately, the game only declares that you've, or discovers or treats you as having discovered DELPHI if a ground unit approaches him. So the fact that we don't get a Chinook transport helicopter, even though we can discover them in LOS and control them and use them to do crazy stuff, it's not enough. Don't get me wrong, I understand that cheesing a map can be
Construction complete.
just as bad as cheating or overly difficult map where it's just not fun, but come on. Like, if I'm clever enough to use my orcas as, like, little scouting drones, then why punish me, basically? Well, on the plus side, we've got the magic number for turrets.
On hold. 10.
Another thing that really sucks is that at this point in time in the GDI arsenal, we don't have anything like long range. Now, I guess technically, if you want to play like the ultra long game, you could probably have some medium tanks destroy the SAM site on the bottom portion of the base, and then just, you know, send orcas in to do some dirty work every now and again. But that's just particularly tedious.
Construction complete.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reporting. Moving out. Reporting. Moving out.
Should have probably bought a Humvee for this sort of scouting.
Waiting order. Yes, sir. Got it.
Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative.
They are enemies to be
Ready
feared.
and Roger. Ready and waiting. Roger. Waiting yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Moving out.
So with this portion revealed, we've pretty much discovered where Nod's getting its funds from. This should make it a little easier to
Reporting.
prevent them from doing much more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If only I didn't have my orcas on the return to reload.
Yes, sir.
And for the record, I should have probably had them reload, just because,
Waiting order.
I mean, the distance, the time to come back and then reload is just
Affirmative.
exceedingly long.
Unit acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Unit reporting. Acknowledged. Unit reporting. Acknowledged.
Another thing that may not be immediately visible, but you kind of have to order or reorder orcas to attack something if your target moves. Because if you don't, they'll go to the original spot that they were going to go to attack their target. Once they arrive there and discover that their target is out of range, then they will subsequently move. This means that, as we saw previously, my orcas got shot because of where the harvester was at the time I ordered the attack. I guess what I'm trying to say is the AI is the only one that gets like heat-seeking air units, whereas I have to like constantly apply controls to it. Or if it's in the case of A10s, I only get to choose where they shoot, not which unit they track. Yeah, I probably should have gotten the 5th helipad, but whatever. It just goes to show that harvesters are really tough, and also shows that like with attacking a harvester with tanks, or rocket soldiers, or grenadiers, or anything that would deplete a Tiberium patch as well. It's incredibly important for as the GDI player to harass harvesters like that. It's just a great and easy way to get a bunch of damage on a vehicle that's critical and basically kill patches that would otherwise be used by your opponent.
Building.
And as always, the Nod forces are kinda always at a disadvantage against air. If the harvester comes out and has a bunch of rocket soldiers defending it, the GDI player just needs a small investment for one APC, and could probably just wipe out the entire ground force just by simply running it over.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Now, obviously that's kind of an oversimplification, but it still is a useful tactic.
Vehicle reported. Moving out. Moving out. Vehicle reporting. Unit reporting.
I always find it kind of weird that this game has Ride of the Valkyries in it, but what are you gonna do?
Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Unit report. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Morning. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Waiting over. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
So, like I said, like 15 minutes ago,
Vehicle report.
this isn't like the best thing to do because it's
Affirmative. Affirmative.
just long. Like, you can do this,
Morning.
but no construction error means that anything I do here is merely temporary.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
I figured I'll try landing, see if I can, reveal more territory.
Unit. Yes, sir.
Maybe get a construction site, which I believe is this building. There we go. Yeah, due to the limitations of how stuff is displayed, it also means I won't really have a good idea as to
Vehicle reported.
where that construction yard finds itself. Like once the sprite changes, you're pretty much that it's in yellow,
Building.
but otherwise there's no real good indicator.
Yes, yes, sir. Unit moving out. Yes, sir.
So 7 salvos of rockets.
Yes, sir.
It's in the yellow. It'll most likely repair into the green as soon as we get back.
Yes, sir.
And it becomes a question of what is more worth it, quote unquote.
Yes, sir.
Would you prefer to attack a harvester,
Acknowledged.
destroy Tiberium fields along with it, and not basically give them a vehicle that isn't being repaired?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or should we go after a construction yard that is forever being repaired?
Construction complete.
Waiting orders. Yes, sir. Unit report. Yes, sir.
Building. On hold. Cancel. Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, at least we did a thing.
Yes, sir. Unit moving out. Yes, sir.
So being able to destroy the construction yard will at least make the rest of this fairly easy.
Yes, sir.
Easier at least. kinda wish I had that 5th helipad by now.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle. Unit reporting. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit reporting. Waiting order. Yes, yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Moving out. Waiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, moving out. Vehicle moving out. Yes, move. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Our base is under attack. Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit reporting. Affirmative. Unit reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Moving out. Yes,
You know, I wonder sometimes why SAM sites aren't affected by power. I guess it'd be, like,
yes, sir. Moving out.
would it be too easy for a GDI to
Yes, sir. Now.
sort of, like, knock it down, like, knock the power grid down, and then just kind of move it in?
Affirmative. Unit report. Moving out.
It just seems like a strange, like, disconnect between the two. But,
Affirmative.
I don't know, maybe there's something about these SAM sites that I just haven't picked up on.
Unit reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, moving out. Moving out. Unit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirm. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, you need 6
Unit reporting.
orcas to take out a harvester. Which seems a little excessive,
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes,
But-
acknowledged.
anything to have those, stay alive for as long as they can, really.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction
Unit
complete.
reporting. Yes, affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Vehicle reporting. Unit moving out. Unit reporting. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Building.
Vehicle reporting. Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, acknowledged. Unit
Sometimes I wonder if I should have just, scrapped a couple medium tanks, built another helipad or 2, and then just go all out for the airstrip.
reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Building.
Yes, affirmative. Yes, moving out.
Cancelled.
No, probably wouldn't have been the best idea either way.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Affirmative. Moving out. Vehicle reporting. Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Moving out. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yep, still don't have airstrikes.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Vehicle report moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
That's sort of another thing I don't like about the GDI missions. I know I've mentioned it before, you know, locations of SAM sites and so on, but come on. Like, airstrikes are not like the best thing ever, but they're clearly a very useful ability in the GDI's arsenal. So for it to be missing like 90% of the time because I'm not gonna go hunt around for, you know, the one SAM site in like the random corner,
Yes, sir.
just kind of like takes away from the airstrike.
Knowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I
Acknowledge.
was kind of mad. I was really hoping that I would have been able to,
Yes, knowledge.
like, I should have saved and then just like kind of refreshed or whatever, but
Vehicle reporting.
this was also really dumb on my part.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Moving out. Unit reporting. Yes, sir.
At this point I was like really mad at myself.
Building.
Yes, affirmative.
Like, I really should have just like used them against the airstrip, only focus on that, take the APC, unload it, and just capture the power plants and just like just sell them or do something stupid with them. Like, we've already seen what it's like to not have power, so the base would have been pretty much crippled, other than like scripting nonsense, but
Building.
it's kind of a different matter altogether.
Sir. Unit reporting. Vehicle. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting orders. Yes, sir. Waiting orders. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Waiting orders.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit waiting. Moving out. Moving out. Unit reporting. Moving out. Unit reporting. Right away, sir.
I'm not quite sure what, like how an orca determines when it should
Acknowledge.
shoot and when it should like scuttle about to try and shoot.
Knowledge. Yes, sir. Moving. Waiting orders. Affirmative. Yes. Affirmative. Yes, unit. Yes, sir.
Unit
Yes, no problem.
lost.
Waiting
Unit
orders. Knowledge.
lost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Reporting. Moving out. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Not a problem. Waiting order. Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ready and waiting. Got it. Not a problem. Yes, sir. Unit reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ready and wait. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wait away, sir. Unit moving.
Lost.
Yes, sir. Yes. Affirmative. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Yeah.
Roger. Moving out. Affirmative. Vehicle
Construction
reporting.
complete.
Alright, so selling a helipad does not give nearly the amount of money I thought it would.
Vehicle. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Yeah.
Lost.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Waiting order.
Come on, engineer and APC.
Unit ready.
Ready and waiting. Wait away, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes,
Oh, that's another thing that kind of gets me, like catches me off guard a lot, is that there's no auto retaliate for player units in this game. I say this because there is actually a setting for auto retaliate. There's also one for auto crushing, basically like telling your vehicle that it should try at all times to crush nearby infantry. Although I believe the limitation is, I want to say we saw it in Nod Mission 4? It probably wasn't 4, probably one of the little bit later. Basically the Nod Mission where you had to find a dilapidated old Nod outpost, use a Chinook to go to GDI outpost, capture that, and then, kill the GDI.
Construction.
This is like right after Kane announces himself, but in any case,
Building. Our base is under attack.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Primary building.
and now I'm drawing an entire blank, and this is really bugging me.
Reporting. Affirmative. Waiting order.
This is a PSA to LPers to drink coffee or something beforehand. Yeah, this is gonna bug me forever now.
Unit lost. Unit ready. Not building captured.
I just got so involved in talking about Kane.
Unit lost. Unit
Yes, sir. Ready and waiting. Got it. Got it. Vehicle reporting. Moving out. Affirmative. Unit reporting. Moving out. Unit reporting.
Man, you guys have no idea how frustrated I am right now. I'm gonna go back to the recording and just be like, oh right, it's this dumb thing.
Ready and waiting.
Unit lost. Building. Unit ready.
Moving out. Wait, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I feel like for half a second I had it. What else to talk about?
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Ready and waiting.
Unit ready.
I mean, this mission's lengthy. Orcas are really effective. Destroy SAM sites. Do what you can to take out the construction yard. Really wish SAM sites weren't placed in the most annoying of spots, so that you could at least like do something about them.
Not building captured.
Waiting. Yes, sir.
Building. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Ready.
Unit ready.
Moving out. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir.
Honestly, I should have also
Building.
taken a unit and just like
Moving out.
walked them over to where DELPHI is.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
I think I was just kind of like stuck on autopilot after having like read the briefing so long ago.
Building selected.
Okay.
Unit
Reporting.
ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Building.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Oh hey, I actually don't forget about them.
Building captured.
So as I guess you might expect, we have to get DELPHI off map, and the only way to do so is
Unit report. Acknowledged.
by just transporting them off the map. Now, I wasn't sure if something was going to happen if I just like done it, or like should I capture the entire base or destroy all forces, then move DELPHI off? Should I move DELPHI and then it'll ask me if I want to, whatever. So here I'm just enjoying the music a little bit before sending DELPHI on his way. And then, of course, the Chinook has to take the longest route off map.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mission accomplished.
Hey, failed run. So as you might imagine, I was like really just not happy with having to go through that entire map just because I couldn't get, you know, infantry or like anything to just deposit next to Delphi and unlock the Chinook, but whatever. Anyways, I looked back into the recording just to see like how exactly I got a huge brain fart, and I was talking about auto crushing. Now, the limitation on auto crushing, I believe, is that a unit must be within like a hex of the unit in question. So when I was referencing the non-mission, I believe it happened twice in the non-campaign. Basically, what I was referencing to was that when some minigunners got too close to a medium tank immediately went up and like murdered the minigunners by crushing them. So that's that. The auto retaliate is the same thing where, and it happens all the time. I find with rocket soldiers, just because of their enhanced range as compared to, say, minigunners, grenadiers, blah blah blah. Sometimes you'll see a rocket, like I'll end up seeing a rocket soldier just shoot at one of my minigunners that I didn't know was on the map, but like I'm busy with other stuff, and you know, lo and behold, I'm about to lose a unit because kind of something dumb. And yeah, so this is kind of another example, this failed run that is, of being rushed by the enemy, which really sucks because, again, the speed of getting income, like, the start of maps can be really tough, just because if you don't get the right stuff immediately, you just kind of have to restart. Like here, you know, guard tower just happened to be out of range of a rocket soldier that basically screws him over. And then a flame tank drops from here. How did it get here? Did it start here? Did an airstrip just paradrop it? How did what is going on here? And okay, I'm sure you can argue that I should have gotten some rocket soldiers. I could still do that technically, but a flame tank is like pretty nasty against rocket soldiers. So I don't know. Anyways, in terms of commentary, I will see you guys next video, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Cancelled. Unit
You know,
ready. Building.
waiting order. Right away,
Unit
sir.
ready.
Reporting. Yes, sir. Reporting. Moving out. You got it. Reporting. Ready and waiting. Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Right away. Right away. Moving out. Not a problem. No, Roger. Not a problem. Reporting. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Roger. You got it. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Reaching out.
Affirmative. Waiting. Moving out. Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Roger. Waiting. Roger.
Out into other worlds.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. You got it. Roger. Affirmative. Moving out. Waiting order. Moving out. Reporting. Moving out. Moving out. Reporting. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Ready and
lost.
moving out.
Worlds.
Affirmative. Roger. You got it.
Building on hold.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Reporting. Roger.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Got it. Reporting. Affirmative. Reporting. Got it. Got it. Ready.
Building.
Affirmative.
Building on hold. Cancelled. New construction options.
Reporting. Not a
New
problem.
construction
Yes,
options.
sir. Acknowledged.
Lost. Unit lost.
Reporting.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Unit reporting. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting out. Wait, moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit moving out.
Unit lost.
Okay.
Unit lost. Your mission